And yes, it's All-Star Week, and this is not a video about sneakers at all. So if you just don't watch it, that's perfectly fine by me. It is going to be a video that's talking about money. More importantly, the 4 quadrants when it comes to cash flow. So in basic terms, pretty much how there's one side of us and part of us that pretty much gets stuck in not really being in any control and having the leverage when it comes to business or money or owning anything. And then the other side where it's the total opposite and they reap those benefits. TJ back with another video talks with TJ, aka TJ2 Swoosh Chains. What is going on, 2 Swoosh crew? Hope you guys are having an amazing week. I know it is All-Star Week, and this is definitely not a video that's going to generate attention. That is perfectly fine by me. It was slated on my calendar for me to do and to talk about. Now, normally this would probably be a Friday video from a book series, and that's exactly what it would be from Rich Dad, Poor Dad's Cash Flow Quadrant. So I'll make sure to put the name of the book below by Robert Kiyosaki. I've mentioned him before, I've talked about him before, but we'll go a little bit, well, not really in depth, but we're going to talk about his cash flow quadrant, why I think it matters, and we'll try to keep it relative to maybe things that you can relate to in this day and age, maybe in sneakers. I'll try to do that. So before we get started, thank you for tuning into this video, because I'm clearly aware you could be watching something that's actually sneaker related, but my channel is Talks with TJ, so I could talk about anything. Most of the times it's like money or budgeting. If I'm not talking about sneakers or how to style something, yes, I am in the city shirt because I've already said I'm going to rep the Warriors as much as I can all week. It's All-Star Week, even though my team is struggling. So let's just jump right into this. I love all of his books. Now, I've read a lot of them. I have not jumped into his YouTube content in which he does a lot of sit-down talks or does lecture, well, not like boring lectures, but I haven't gotten into it yet. And I kind of need to because I enjoy doing that. Watching him, I will also listen to Dave Ramsey podcast. I will also watch, why can't I think of his name? Eric Thomas. Okay, and then Gary Vee. So there are times where I take total breaks from sneaker content. Just to be honest with you, I don't really watch a whole lot of it sometimes, or maybe weeks where, or a whole solid week where I will just watch these gentlemen, just so you know. But for this one, in relation to his cash flow quadrant, so he talks about in one of his recent videos that it is a really obsolete thing that we still try to get kids to buy into, that you need to go to school and you need to get a high school diploma, and then you need to get a college degree, and normally you're going to end up, using debt to get that degree, and then you need to find you a really safe and secure job, and you need to invest, the max that you're allowed to every year by the IRS in your 401k, and then go outside and invest in the IRA, and you do that for the long term, and you hope to retire and be decently taken care of, and hopefully, your kids are nice enough to put you in a really nice nursing home or pay for in-nurse home care once you get older. I don't know that I'll go down that road or have to worry about that. I mean, I might just be paying for my own nursing care because I don't have kids and I have no idea when or if I'm going to want them. So when it comes to how life is set up, this is what we teach young people, right? But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We don't really educate them on a lot of the real world. So that mindset is really just training you to be an employee, and that's what we train kids to be in school. We don't train them to really do anything. We don't educate them to really do anything. We educate you to be an employee. We don't really want you to, ask too many questions. Trust me, I got in trouble for that in school more times than you can think, to the point where they literally had to make a rule about how you could schedule your curriculum for undergrad in the business department. Trust me, they remember me. So, we don't really teach kids to ask questions or to really be as independent as you should be, owning the accountability of being in charge. So that's what I'll say. So usually it's just training you to be an employee. And what does that place you? Well, if you look at the actual quadrant, cash flow quadrant, it really touches on how cash is flowing in, or do you have any control of the cash that is flowing into your pocket as income. So as an employee, no, you pretty much have none because you're working for somebody else. Someone else is telling you what to do, and you are at the beck and call. If someone wants to just fire you, they can fire you, and all of your job security, health insurance, and all that is gone, and benefits. And yes, that's exactly what that means when you are just an employee. Now, employees are needed. We can't just go around the world, everybody being in charge. First off, I've seen the way a lot of you behave and operate. You don't need to be in charge of yourself, let alone anything else, like an actual business or in charge of people. Heaven forbid you were in charge of the livelihood of somebody. I would actually be a little bit afraid. So some of you don't need to. Being an employee is just fine. Employees are needed to be able to run businesses or have them run efficiently. That is perfectly fine to be an employee, okay? We all have dream jobs sometimes, and sometimes they are working for a certain employer, okay? Mine would be Nike. Hey, hello. So now, in relation to the way they break this down in the visual, it's about, and I'll try to have this visual somewhere up here, but it's about the amount of active work determines your income, right? So a lot of times you are punching a clock. The more you punch the clock, the more you are paid based on whatever your hourly rate is. So that should be really easy to understand, and kind of like Lincoln Lawyer. I don't get paid, I don't work, but that applies more so to the self-employed quadrant, and we'll get there. But that is essentially how it is. You know, you have to punch the clock more, which means you have to work more to get paid. And after a while, depending on, you know, how much you make, it feels like diminishing returns. If you're only making minimum wage and you're constantly working, you're running yourself into the ground for only like $7.25 an hour. It feels pointless after a while, because with taxes taken out, it just feels like you've gotten nowhere. So if you are in that very top, I'm trying to think here, left quadrant, you are considered an employee. So the way it works, there are two different sides of this. So you have an employee, let's just drop on down, and you are then self-employed. So how can I break this down? If you work at Nike or you work at, you know, Footlocker, you are considered to be an employee. You literally walk in, and I clock in, and I leave, and I clock out, and every 2 weeks I get a paycheck. That's how it is. If you are self-employed, so think about it. As a content creator, I'm somewhat technically self-employed. I make my own hours. They're not always the most beneficial for me. I will film at the most random times and edit. Like, trust me, go ask Sniper Jones. Edit, you can be editing 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm kind of self-employed. I make my own hours. It's all relying on me. The work, the production, everything that happens, it's all relying on me. So pretty much if I don't do anything, nothing gets produced, no money isn't made through Google AdSense, which is essentially how we get paid. So think of your favorite sneaker content creators as self-employed people, because they are. Now, I'm not saying that's our only job. It's not my only job, but we're essentially self-employed. Now, also in mainstream jobs, think about doctors and lawyers. They can somewhat be considered self-employed, because even though a lot of them may work for a firm or they may work for a hospital, they still kind of get to do their own thing, run their own practice, if you could say. Now, for them, the amount of work or active work still determines their income, okay? So they still got to put in time to be able to make more. For YouTubers, that's not always even the case. Those content creators, like, you can put in more time, but if it's not put in a wise way, where your videos are actually generating views and, you know, likes, and you're not hitting the algorithm, then you could be working really dumb just to punch out a lot of videos that are low quality and are not capturing anyone's attention. They're not moving anyone to want to be engaged with you, and therefore you're just working a lot and not really getting a whole lot of views, which means you're not having ads really ran on there, and you're probably not getting paid a whole lot. So you have to be smart about it, but it's also why doctors and lawyers are usually run down into the ground, because they have to continue to work. Like, it's not based on a system like a business, and that's what we're going to get to next, but it's based on the fact that you have to produce the work. It's all reliant on you. So if at any point you choose to go take a vacation, hey, there's no vacation time that's paid for that. If I choose not to make videos, I choose not to make videos. You then have to rely on whatever your previous videos were to sustain income and continue to make income for you during that window in which we earn income and then we're paid. And trust me, we all watch it like a hawk. Don't believe anybody if they say that they don't. Now, if you move over to the other side of the quadrant, so a lot of us will start on the left side. You don't want to remain on the left side, okay? You want to make your way over to the right side. The right side is actually where you will earn the more, where you can build real wealth, not just have a high income. Because a lot of people have high incomes if they are an employee, and you are taxed ridiculously when you are an employee, okay? You also don't want to be an employee when it comes to taxes. You actually just want to be an investor, because they pay the least amount of taxes. And it's frustrating. So if you're just an employee, you're going to pay the most amount of taxes. If you're self-employed, you still pay a lot of taxes because you don't get any real tax breaks. I mean, you can write a lot of stuff off, but you're still going to get taxed the most depending on what range of income you fall into. If you are a business now, instead of just running yourself, you run a system. And that also means you can walk away from that system and go do whatever it is you want to do if that system runs efficiently. And I'm not going to go into this video about how you should structure your business, because there is a formula of how you need to structure it so that it does run efficiently, because, you know, the legal team and communication and everything else needs to be in place for the system to work correctly. And I don't care if you're doing a service or if you're, you know, selling a product, there still needs to be systems in place. That's all a business is. A business consists of systems that work. You know, e-commerce is just a system. That's all it is. So for the B quadrant, all right, you're a business owner, you own a system, which means income does not depend on active work. You don't have to be there to make money. So think about somebody who owns a sneaker boutique, okay? They solely own it. It is theirs. The only thing they are, you know, they really have to be in charge of or worried about is paying the rent for whatever space they occupy for that real estate, unless they've totally bought that building, which, I mean, kudos to you if you can do that. So if they are the owner of a sneaker boutique, then yes, they are the business owner, which means if at any point they would like to walk away from the store, well, they probably have a store manager and an assistant store manager and possibly a sales lead, and then they have full-timers and they probably have part-timers to run the store for them, so they don't need to be there. Now, when, you know, as we like to say, shit hits the fan, they then have to show back up and save the day. But they don't need to be there to make money. That's a great place to be in. Now, businesses can get tax breaks, far more tax breaks than if you are self-employed or an employee. So keep that in mind. A lot of people will move to want to be business owners. Here's the thing. The first time you move to be a business owner, you're probably going to fail because you're not actually efficient in running a system or really running yourself. Think about how well you run your own life. If you fail over and over and over and over again, sticking to a fitness and health plan, you're probably going to also fail at the very first business you run. Why? Because it takes a lot of dedication and self-awareness, and you need to drop your ego that you're not going to know everything, and you're going to need to call in experts to help you. That's why a business owner, they're not going to know every intricate detail all of the time of the business. They go and hire experts to do that role. They may have the bigger picture view. They're usually the big thinkers, okay? They don't do the details. They're the big thinkers, okay? They can have the forward vision to know what needs to be done. Doesn't mean they are the ones actually doing it on the ground, okay? They can have the wherewithal to delegate and put people in charge. So that sneaker boutique owner can know exactly the experience they want to give us, the consumers, shopping in there for kicks and more, but they will actually delegate others to help them execute that vision, and they don't need to be there, okay? So you're probably gonna fail. It's okay. Most businesses fail definitely within the first 2 years, and then once we move down the road the next 5 years, you know, that percentage drops off too. But before you move to be an investor, and that's the very last quadrant, please make sure that you have actually tried to run a business first, okay? I would even say start self-employed, because you need to understand what it's like to really put in some work. That is what you need to do. You need to understand what it's like to put in some work, to have to be in charge, to have to make decisions, to have things rely on you, and to not whine and complain just because you're not where you want to be. It usually means you need to work harder. That was for some content creators. So go ahead and try out being self-employed, and then you move to run a business or a system where it can move without you. Yeah, it's not that easy. I think people think it's easy to run a business because they just have an idea. You gotta have a lot more than just that idea. So when you move down to the I, what is that about? Because as a business, people work for, you know, people make you money. But as an investor, money makes you money, because you don't even have to rely on the people. Like, you're relying on the income of what you have chosen to invest in to continue to make you more money. That's a beautiful quadrant. That's a beautiful side of the quadrant to be in. That's one we all should strive to want to be in. So as an investor, you could just be someone at that point that owns stock in these companies. You don't have to do anything. Like, the money is making you more money as Nike continues to go up. And yes, I have a tracker on Nike stock, and I don't own a lot of it, okay? I don't. Like, I own an ETF share, and they have, you know, Nike stock embedded in that. So not where I want to be. I'm on the road though. But you will have your money. So I will watch Nike, and yes, it's All-Star Week, so their stock is going up because they're expected to do really well, and all eyes are on them. That's how this works. They sponsor the NBA. They literally are on all the jerseys. So you are able to pretty much leverage everything, because your income doesn't depend on working. You don't even have to not be present. Like, a business owner can check in every now and then they're good. Like, as an investor, you don't do anything. You don't have to check on anybody. I mean, like, you may watch your investment, but the money is making you money. mention you get the biggest tax breaks. Do you know passive income is taxed much lower than earned income, okay? You never really want to continue to have your earned income go up. That's why when I got a raise last year, I went ahead and put that money right back into my 401k. That way my earned income did not go up. It would have been nice to have seen that raise actually come home to me. I got stuff that I need to pay for, but I would rather it go to my 401k. Future me will thank me for that. So the way it works, once again, you have an E, which is an employee, and you have S, which is self-employed, which means that you still have to work to produce any income for yourself. And you have to work more in both to usually produce more, and the taxes suck when it comes to both of those sides. If you move over to the B and the I side, B, people are making you money, but you still have to be accountable, you still have to check in, it's based on a system. If you are poor at setting up this system, you will be poor at having this business actually succeed. And then once we get over to the investor side, God, this video's long, whatever, hopefully you stuck around. Once you get down to the investor side, if you are the person that is investing in whatever the fictional sneaker boutique that we talked about, or if you are investing in Nike stock, Adidas stock, I don't care, just some sneaker brand stock, then the money itself that it's generating, and they have very large amounts that they generate, is making you money. All right, so that's a breakdown of kind of the 4 quadrants in terms of cash flow. All of us will usually start out as an employee. Once again, nothing wrong with that. A lot of people will try to move to being business owners, which I applaud that too. You should always want to be in charge, work for yourself, set your own rules, have that time for your family. But understand there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into those very first few years and moments of being a business owner. So I know people say, well, I get to be in charge and I get to make all the decisions, and that's right. When it all hits the fan, you are the one in charge, you are the face. If it fails, even if it's something else that happened internally, it's still going to come back on you. So make sure that you are ready for that type of responsibility. Okay, and then some will be self-employed, and that is fine. As a creator, that's pretty much what you are. You get to do, you know, what you want. It's just you're going to have to be the one producing. It's all reliant on you. You are the tool that makes the money. All right, so that's what it is. So I don't know if you enjoyed this video or not. If you did, you can let me know in the comment section. So yeah, I just rambled on about money. It had nothing to do with All-Star Weekend, directly related to the releases coming out. I mean, hopefully you get whatever you go after. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Thanks for watching. Peace out.